Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and we are conducting a surprise visit to the liquor store and Mini-Mart. We will see how everybody does. We want to check and make sure everything's stocked, clean, store looks good. And usually when we show up, the staff manager knows I'm coming and they can prepare. This time we're just showing up at a random day to see what happens, and we might have some news on the apartments upstairs as well. There's 3 apartments upstairs. I own the whole building, and we have a really big apartment. We've shown that one before. It's 3 bedrooms, like 1,600 square feet. This used to be an old bank building that was built over 100 years ago, and those tenants have had a lot of complaints against them from the store employees and manager to other tenants. So their lease is coming up soon. We're not renewing it. And when they're out of there, it'll be very interesting to see how that apartment looks, because we've had some inspections done, contractors, and they say it's pretty dirty. But we might be able to split that apartment into multiple apartments, which would increase the income on this property. So we'll see how that all looks once that happens. And the back was pretty messy looking too. So we might have to talk to the tenants about that, because I think that's them. And of course, there's a tire sitting there by the extra garage right there. So this is walking into the liquor store side. There's a liquor store side and then a kind of a grocery store side that are separated, because by Colorado law, you have to have a dedicated liquor store to sell hard alcohol. So the customers who are buying alcohol would have to come into one side, can't cross over. And the customers who are buying food could buy all their food on either side, but Colorado law is kind of strict on how we handle that situation. I bought this whole building January of 22, I believe. I think that's right. And it's been a ton of fun owning it, operating it, learning the business. I had no idea what I was doing before this. And it's been really nice seeing the store look as good as it does too. So like I said, we're kind of doing a surprise inspection, see how it looks. And everything looks awesome. When I bought it, there was maybe a third of the inventory that we have now. And we worked really hard to add inventory, make the customers happy. And I think we've done a really good job with that. Now, it might seem like common sense, stocking, keeping items out on the shelves, cleaning are simple things, but we went through 3 managers before we could get that done on a consistent basis. I feel like in the first year, even almost the first 2 years I owned this store, year and a half, I was here every week, and every time I came in, I would be in this back cooler stocking and putting in beer because it wasn't getting done, and it wasn't clean. The floors were dirty, and a whole lot of excuses were flying around. But the last year or so has been way, way better. So that's great to see and nice to see. And sales have been doing way better as well. So that's a tricky, part of owning a liquor store, small Mini-Mart convenience store too. You don't have huge margins. This is a very small town, Pierce, Colorado, and you can't staff a ton of people, or else you will literally lose money, because all your profits and then some will go to all the staff if you've got a ton of people working there. And so it's challenging to make the scheduling work, all of that work, the inventory, the sales. But we've kind of hit a little sweet spot right now, I feel, where things are going smooth and sales are doing well and staff is dialed in. I need to knock on wood here on my desk because things can always change. But for right now, it's been going pretty smooth. And the shelves look great. For a while there, it wasn't just, our staff or managers' issue either that we couldn't keep the shelves full. It was our suppliers, right? Frito-Lay wasn't able to give us enough chips, and Pepsi and Coke wasn't able to give us enough, soft drinks. All kinds of issues trying to get enough goods in because of supply chain issues, other issues. So that's kind of calmed down now, and we're in a pretty good place there. Although, sometimes you get a new product, like, what is it, the Crown Royal Blackberry or something? People absolutely love, and is sold out everywhere. Nobody can get it. So once in a while you have things like that, but it's just because a new product did better than the supplier imagined, and you just have to deal with that for a short term. We have lots of milk, so that's one of my things. When I get to the store, I want to make sure we have lots of milk, because people do come in for that, and that's all there. So that was a fantastic sign. Shelves are stocked really well. That's good to see. There's not like empty boxes out there with no items in there. That's good to see. And yeah, it looks really, really good. There was one empty shelf, and I was talking to the manager about that. I'm like, what's going on here? And they had some energy bars up there, right there, and they just were not selling at all. So the supplier had pulled those, and now they're figuring out what else they can put in that place. And I was checking to see, really clean. There's a tiny, tiny layer of dust there. That literally will show up like an hour after you clean, I swear. So that was really good to see. We brought lots of bags with us. So, funky Colorado laws, if I haven't talked enough about them lately. Grocery stores, most stores cannot sell plastic bags. It's illegal. We can. Why can we do it? Because we have less than 3 stores. I'm based in Colorado. And are something else. Native, like there's 3 things where you can still give customers plastic bags, not even sell them. Like for a while there, the stores had to sell plastic bags to customers. Now they're just trying to eliminate them completely so people can't even get plastic bags. As a small store with less than 3, we are actually able to give customers plastic bags still. So that's a huge advantage for us because people love to use plastic bags. It's not like a lot of people just throw them away. Some do, but people use them over and over again for lots of different reasons as well. So that's cool. We've got new flavors in the Frazzle machine, which is like a Slurpee. We added that, of course. We've got lots of different lunch options, which is awesome to see too. That wasn't happening when I bought the store, and that's all really helped sales and improve things. I did see something really disturbing right there, but it wasn't my manager's fault, and we'll get back to that in just a little bit, but it's actually Nikki who saw it, and I'm like, what? But we'll show you there. Here's the back liquor store room. People are always like, you have too much inventory. You can't have all that. It's killing your profits. We go through a lot of alcohol. So we carry as much inventory as we need. Once in a while, we'll have more than we need. If there's a big sale, we can buy in bulk because we aren't big enough to get a lot of the bulk deals larger liquor stores do. So sometimes we do that. But for the most part, we'll go through all this in a relatively short period of time, and we get weekly deliveries for most of our suppliers, and I think 1 or 2 of them are bi-weekly deliveries, but most are every week, and filling up stuff, there's not a ton of supply just sitting back there not being used. Now here's the big walk-in cooler. We have had to fix this a couple of times, but it looks really good. This is where I feel like I was always stocking stuff. When I came here before with different managers, the stuff was not on the shelves, but we still had it in the back, and now it looks way, way better. Pretty much everything's there. Yeah, looks fantastic. It's not quite, a hot day in Colorado right now. We had snow last weekend, a few inches, and then it was probably 70 today. But on a hot day in Colorado when it's 90, 100 out, it feels really good to walk into this cooler. I'll tell you that. It's 30. No, it's under 30 degrees. I forget. Right about 30 degrees. But yeah, it's worked pretty well. Haven't had too many issues, so that's nice. We haven't had too many, equipment issues. We had to buy a new cooler here and there, have some repaired, but that's been pretty good too. Here's the little horse we got off Facebook, real cheap. So any coin works in there. So I'm a coin nut if you watch my laundromat videos or apartment videos. So I do have quarters coming in here. That gumball machine was from a commercial building I bought, and that was sitting in there. So we brought that over here, and we get quarters from it as well. Those are the quarters from that gumball machine. So I get more quarters too. And then here's the back stock area for the store, which has room behind the coolers. We don't use all of it. And then one thing, again, that need to make sure is done, very minor issue, but the health department will ding us on it, and the health department does do checks. That sink should not have stuff in it. So we do very minor food prep for like lunches, sandwiches for lunch, very minor. And we have to have a sink for that and a mop sink, and should not be anything in that sink. So, and then yeah, we've got a few things in here. I was just checking to see if that got cleared out, but that's the hoarder junk closet. As long as the rest of the store looks okay, I'm okay with that. But eventually someday we'll need to clear that out and make sure not quite so messy there. And back here is where we have most of the store goods. This building, like I said, was originally a bank. There were some bank vaults in part of it. Then it was a meat market for a while, so this was the huge refrigerated meat part, and then those other rooms were meat freezers. So lots of interesting stuff here. And I keep throwing the idea of putting a laundromat in here. Not doing it anytime soon, but it's got a concrete floor. It's got some space. There's no laundromats within like 20 miles of this area. I think it'd do good, but I'd have to buy some new machines, spend some money, update the plumbing, things like that. So we'll see. This is what I was really concerned about. We took out the big overhead heater that was here when I got it, which is nice. We finally got that out. And then Nikki's like, what is that wire? Now it's off. It's not on, right? But still, we should not have wires here, and that was our contractor who did that. So not happy with that. We'll definitely get that fixed right away because, yeah, it doesn't look very good just to have wires in your store. All right, here is one of the new sales charts I've made. I don't think people have seen this unless they've saw some of my shorts recently where I show each year compared to the previous year. So I bought it in January of 22, but we didn't open. We shut down for a few weeks to remodel, restock, and we didn't open until February. So that's why we had 0 sales. And then that first year was okay. It wasn't bad. We did better. And then you can see the second year in red did quite a bit better than the first year. Especially the second half of the year. You can see the first part was a little bit better, but then come July, it really did a lot better, and really huge improvements, except for just like 1 week in October, which were similar. And we had a really slow winter 2022. I didn't know if that was because of management and other issues, because we did have some issues there. And so it was really interesting to see what would happen this winter, 2023/2024. And you can see we did way better. We didn't have those crazy, horrible low weeks. And that was really nice to see. Now, in 2024, things are doing even better. So we had a really good start to the year, way better. You know, you can see like 14,000 compared to 19,000 a week. This is weekly sales, by the way. I don't know if I said that. This is how many sales we have in every week. So we had 19,000, and then we had a really cold, freezing stretch, and that really destroys sales at the store. Every time we have a huge storm or it gets really cold, sales drop a ton. And so that's kind of what happened that second week in January, where it dropped down to 16,000. Still way above what it was in 2023. So that was good to see. And then sales crept up, and then they've been rising at even a faster pace than they did in 2023, and way higher than 23 now than 23 was in 22. So that's really good to see as well. In fact, we came really close to breaking a weekly sales record last week, almost 23,000. We got just barely over 23,000 in September of 23. And as you can see, if the trend continues with sales picking up over the summer, which they've always done, we should have a great year, blow the records out of the water. Again, knock on wood, because you never know for sure. But based on what we're seeing right now, hopefully things just keep improving and doing really well. And yeah, our sales do much better. As soon as we get a few hot days, sales really spike too at that point, which you could kind of see happen last year, the end of May, start of June. Same thing in 22. So if that happens now, we could have some amazing weeks. So it's really cool to see the sales up. We also, can show you a profit chart here as well, because sales are not profit. We have to pay staff, utilities. I also take rent out of this and pay myself rent every month as well. There's some maintenance costs. There's cleaning, there's quite a few things that go into paying for this business, that is for sure. So here's a different chart, and this shows the weekly sales, our weekly gross profit, which is basically what we make on each item. So we have to pay for our goods and supplies, obviously from our suppliers, if we buy from stores, what have you. And so our profit margin is about 30%. So if we, sell something for $10, it probably costs us $7, and then we make $3. Well, obviously we have more expenses in that, so the weekly net profit is then after you subtract staff, utilities, rent, the other costs that we have. So here you can see how it's done over the last 2 years and some change. And you can see our weekly sales went way up. Our profit has been going up too. In the winter, it dips really low. In fact, it can get negative with some of our low sales months and our continued costs. And then, you know, we've actually improved our profit margin too recently. We've worked really hard with our manager to figure out scheduling and pricing and different things to improve that, because that blue line where it's showing over $2,000 a month in 22 and 23, that may have been a bit aggressive. I don't know if we actually made that much. That's just kind of a formula I created myself based on, you know, utilities and staffing, but it wasn't always exactly the same. And I didn't go through every single week and count out everything. So it's kind of approximate, but I think we're doing way better now than we were before. And this chart might not quite show how much better we're doing. So that's been really good to see. And the bank account's been doing decent, so that's good to see. And we're also not spending a bunch of money on improvements either, where in the first year, maybe in the first 2 years, it seems like almost all the profit we made was going back into buying more inventory or adding coolers. We added some coolers, improving things, adding counters. You know, we were making the store better. So now we're at a pretty decent place where we're just kind of maintaining things. There's still some maintenance items, but we're not making a bunch of massive additions, and we're in a pretty solid spot. But things can always change. You can't just ignore things and hope they keep going. And there's also things we want to improve on and still kind of tweak and have new options as well. Plus, there's the apartments that might need some attention here soon. So we'll definitely see what they look like here in a couple of months. We've got to give people 90 days notice in Colorado if we're not renewing their lease. So we have to give them notice way ahead of time. All right, that's the store. That's the update. Love to hear what you think. We'll have more updates here coming soon. And of course, we'll have laundromat videos, flip videos, rental property videos, and crazy story videos as well. Thanks for watching.